everybody, Brian from QuantLabs. Here talking about this posting I put up yesterday. It turned into an email for my newsletter. Billionaire hedge fund manager Steve Cohen cannot find young talent. I got a new couple of responses. If you want to find the actual email, just do a search on my blog for Cohen, and you should be able to find it here. Can't find young talent. This was an entire video with from CNBC talking about the recruiting methodologies at his new company, Point 72, and these are pretty bright graduates, and they can't get job offers from his new family office, Point 72. So people responded to this, and the first question was, are you aware of any person that has set up a hedge fund? That one came out of India. So let me just show you something regarding that. This is my channel here. If you do a search on basically, let's say Ernie Chan, I'll just put in Chan. He's probably the closest that I know that is running a real hedge fund, and it's a multi-million-dollar hedge fund. He's doing quite well with it, I'd imagine, but he's all over the place. This video here is the other person that I always come up with, is a London quant from a few years ago. He's quite revolutionary in a lot of ways, in so many ways that will bend anybody's brain and gouge out their eyeballs, just in the level of thinking and just being like stuff that you've never seen before, and just truly out of the world in terms of performance, in terms of innovation. This guy's like a legend, but nobody knows about him, and that's way a lot of people like it. So yeah, I do know, have come across quite a lot of million plus dollar hedge funds. I still have a number that watch me. I've got some that are applying for positions very high up in large exchanges. So yeah, that is a definite answer, which is a definite yes. Okay, next one. Ain't that, this is out of the States, ain't that corrupt, i.e. algorithmically, never say that, susceptible to guerrilla social ethnic techniques? I can't really say. If you're following like InfoWars, like I kind of like watching and be entertained by it, but there is definitely a ugly side to what's happening in the West, the political, government, all that. I'm not going to get into it here, but I do think that there is an influence on it, on the impact of banks and how they operate, for sure. In terms of can't find talent, I don't know how that interlinks back, but hey, everybody's got their own opinion. Okay, this one comes out of France. It's a fairly lengthy one. This person says, out of Paris, I react quickly to your message. Quite amazing guy. Yeah, new talents on hedge funds are quite rare. As explained to you, that the news trends are moving towards the duality concepts of software and hardware. Tandem logic, business core nowadays for sure. It takes time to persuade people about it, but in long-term perspectives, the general convergence thought will be glued totally and well-fetched in such an unavoidable new way of thinking. Everywhere people understood advanced math, equations, statistics, and so on. This is well admitted by several people within the trading circles. Corporation, business logic, since but few of them are concerning and paying attention of my vision. Fundamentally, this vision took root from my own observation. I was a former RFIC engineer, and then he talked a lot about how Intel is being very revolutionary in their hardware. From my perspective on this, there's that convergence of hardware and software, namely in the world of FPGA boards, GPUs. I I can't really offer any comment on the hardware side. I just don't know enough about it, to be honest. And even if I did, it's a very complex path for me to go down. But I will say this about software virtualization, and specifically with better virtualized parallelized libraries, like I've discovered FastFlow, and more people are kind of catching on to it. It's an amazing software library for parallelization and multi-core processing. And now the question is, if these kind of libraries are being developed to take advantage directly of cores on motherboards, can it be done just exclusively done through easier frameworks like FastFlow in C++? And the question is the performance just as good as the hardware? And if that's the case, and it is as good, it's as easy to use, then the question becomes, like why have a conversation about hardware? Because if the software is getting to a point where it's just getting as good, I don't know. With all these GPUs and FPGAs, where you can just use bare metal Linux, or bare metal BSD is a good way to put it, and just take advantage of the processors built right on the motherboards. All these other boards may or may not have a future, but I don't know. I don't know. But the way it's looking, and some of the code that I've seen coming out of HFT shops, that's how they do it. Like, they literally will use a lot of assembly in C, and just take advantage of registers and very advanced computational science techniques to take advantage of processes that are not being just that processed. And there's a lot of techniques that are capable of that. I've seen some of it. It's, again, way advanced for me to even think about it. But on the software side, that is coming. And that's the future way it's looking in the low-level software development world that I'm seeing. And it's always been there, just people are discovering it. But what makes it more interesting is that there's going to be more and more frameworks, probably open source frameworks like FastFlow, that will take advantage of those performance capabilities. So I don't know which way the future will be, and this is all in the world of heavy duty HFT, high frequency trading. But if I was to put a bet on it, I'd rather go down the software path, because obviously there's less investment and less technical complexity that comes with it. That's the way I'm looking at it. But I'm that's years for me to go down that path. But something I'd be very interested. So continues along. So my approach is to develop an argument about this tandem. Most of the modern or old traders do not have a large knowledge of electronic components, especially processors, and they're focused on mathematics, computations from MATLAB, Python algos. But I guess he's stressing here, but the reality of our modern time today is well dominated by the power of multi-thread techniques, which override entirely that old vision of things. Absolutely. Because think about this. When we as humans trade, maybe we can follow 6, maximum 10, maybe if you're an Einstein level, on those assets in real time. You can only do so much, and you're trying to scale that out through human traders. You need 100 traders to get the capabilities and scalability of multi-threaded software environments. And it's coming. They're getting more easier to work with. It's very low level, but I think as more advanced computing engineers, software engineers are getting better at it, and they're making things a lot easier. So there you go on that front. Quick message. Because your posts strike me too much, great Brian, thank you. This is my only vision, and not necessarily my imposing style to tell people that I'm right, but several people focused on Scala language, and for me, I'm caught up in Python and all these type of languages, I guess, especially oriented on writing algos for trading world, would not contradict my vision. So Guy, I will leave you for a while. Should work, continue hard, and take care, and we'll talk soon out of Paris. All right, so hopefully that will give you some reaction to this comment put out by Steve Cohen, hedge fund manager. But from my perspective, I think more and more people are discovering algorithm trading on their own. I was talking to somebody yesterday about it, DIY, do it yourself, and people are learning that. And the question came out, how long would it take? He thought 1,000 hours. When I told him, realistically, to do it competently, to do it with confidence, and when I told him from a VP at Barclays on a video told me, well not told me, but told the audience to go through this entire journey is about 7 years. And I probably will agree with that wholeheartedly. And this person's reaction, his eyes just like, I think his eyeballs literally jumped out of his head in surprise by that comment. But it's easy to think that you're getting into this, and it's not. I think the world is now changing so fast with retail traders getting crushed. But yeah, now there's these generation of younger people, graduates even, coming out of school in their 20s thinking that they can just be instant millionaires because they can throw up a couple of Python scripts and make millions. Yeah, it's possible. I think that time is come and gone now. This market is definitely saturated with all these kind of people, and that generation, I think, will become the next generation of equivalent of retail traders who will get crushed because they don't understand the fundamentals of how the markets really flow. And that's why I focus on fundamental analysis greatly, and hopefully you'll see the results when I get this system out and done, and show you some of the results that I'm seeing. All right, hopefully that'll help you out in numerous ways of looking at why there is a not enough young talent out there that really know how the real hedge funds on Steve Cohen level work. Hopefully I'll kind of help you out later.